Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second round coverage on the back nine, the 2019 Texas States Disc Golf Championship presented by Discraft. I'm Paul Ulibarri, once again joined by Brian Earhart. Earhart, what we got, man?
We have an interesting group of players here. Again, some familiar faces and some new faces. Andrew Marwede, AJ Risley, Ricky Wysocki, and Alex Russell. Kind of a big, what am I trying to say here? A lot of variety in the scores. Looks like Marwede kind of had a tough front nine. AJ, Ricky, and Alex are kind of holding their own. Ricky's actually starting to pull away a little bit here. And we're moving into hole 10.
Yeah, par 4, 600 feet. And really the play is, so you're going to have OB to the left. It's going to be a dog leg to the right. You see this green that's going to be out of bounds, and then the basket's kind of tucked behind that with a OB right behind it. So a lot of out of bounds, but typically you're going to see this play, just like Ricky's doing here, is going to be sidearm, skip it to the right, and then manufacture some sort of upshot over that green.
Absolutely.
One thing I wanted to point out about the scores, too, is there was 3 clean scorecards on the front nine, and that is very tough to do on this course.
Oh, yeah. As expected, Andrew's been throwing that sidearm all day. And
Yeah.
I think if you just push it out there far enough, you'll have a good opening to the basket. But I think I really am interested to see how this roller goes with this Havoc.
He's got to beat that base.
Ooh, and he
barely
does, but
does.
it's starting to hook up a little
That's
bit early.
perfect. He's going to have backhand wide open to the pin. Wide open. There's going to be nothing in the way. Which is what he wants. He wants
absolutely.
him out of the whole group is going to want to be right.
That's
because of he lacks the sidearm skills kind of to go around to the other side, and so he prefers to have that backhand route. See, because even though A-Russ is going to be kind of pinned up against that tree, I'm guessing he's going to bend to the other side of the tree to try to throw a sidearm. You see,
That's gotta sit
and
down.
even though he had a bigger gap with the backhand, we see Marwede actually prefer to the sidearm and try to pinch it through that gap just because he's more comfortable. Yeah, just like I thought he was. He takes sidearm into there, and he's going to be in the circle, but that's a tough putt. It's going to be straight headwind, I believe. Crosshead.
Still tough. Ricky should be pretty routine here for him. And he's
Good.
putting a little bit of baby flex on it to hopefully lessen the flare, and it definitely worked out that way. And AJ having to get creative. I think he's going with a Warden turnover.
That's got to go. Perfect. Yeah, so just, none of these putts are going to be very easy, but they're all putting for birdie, which is nice on this course. If you're putting for birdie, you're doing something right.
Definitely.
This isn't the type of course where you're going to play the round and have a bunch of birdie putts because the lines are just so tough and lots of out of bounds everywhere. Very nice, clean release from Alex there.
Especially when you get back in the woods, too. A lot of those wooded shots are tough to get the birdie on, so trying to capitalize on these open holes as much as possible is definitely the ticket to score out here. Ricky with the birdie here. AJ should have a nice 15, 20-footer. Capitalizes on the birdie here. We have one more tap in, and we should move on to the next hole.
Even gets a couple claps from the gallery for his tap in.
Pretty nice tap in, if you ask me. Moving into hole 11, 394 feet. This is actually a pretty sweet shot. You have to kind of land the disc softly or land the flare softly. There's an OB green on the right side, and on the left side, if you do flare a little bit too much, there is OB down in that swampy area.
Yeah, so the name of the game here is just like you said, do your best to guess what the wind's doing and then try to land something soft up by the basket. You see Ricky this looks like a really nice line, if I do say so myself. That should land pretty soft. Yeah, money. Well,
I do think that is the definition of money. Let's get a little FollowFlight on that.
and then right at the end, what I love about this shot is it does a little twirly bird and then gives a little kiss. And let's see if these guys can learn from that line. And he gets this one a little bit turned over, and as soon as that nose kind of got up, you can see it get smashed by the wind. And
that's the challenging part about this shot. You ideally like to throw some sort of flex shot because it'll land softer and skip softer. But the moment you do that, the wind doesn't like it. Alex is going to opt for a boss forehand. That's really, really nice forehand.
That's really far.
Yeah. That was a pure hyzer, too. 400 foot.
Actually, that's the first time I've seen him go pure distance with the kind of a flat shot like that. I didn't know he had that in the arsenal. That's very impressive. And this is what you call a yank job and an out of bounds as well on top of it. So,
is that what that's called? A yank job with the out of bounds?
Yeah, I mean, that was just kind of it was a really bad shot, but then to get punished with the out of bounds and then to just get worked over by the wind.
That was
not good. Not
definitely
favorable.
Not good. AJ. Oh, ooh! What kind of rundown was that? Was that the human version of the twirly bird?
This is sweet, man. Oh,
whoa! Full 360 double fist pump. Let's go. Kind of edgy. Is he kind of edgy?
Down. So when he gets outside of the 10 yards, it's first down.
It's absolutely a first down. Marwede with kind of a tough hole here.
Very good birdie. So 3 birdies, and then obviously Andrew with the 5. I believe that's going to be tapping in for.
It is going to be a 5.
And but that's a product of a bad tee shot. Mm-hmm. You know, he got out of position. He did get a bad break and kick out of bounds, and then he was out of position in a open area to where the wind really can do whatever it wants to, especially with that slope. Like, you can't put enough torque on it. Like, there's just a lot of things that can go bad. So,
and hole 12 here, this is the one hole that I thought the wind tunnel effect had the most effect on. This was making disc do all sorts of things here, and this is another one where you want to throw something flat that kind of has a little turn to it, but the moment that happens, the disc gets shoved down. 425 uphill, OB directly to the right of the basket. And Ricky, it looks like he's opting for the forehand to fight that crosswind.
And this would just be amazing to have this sort of power. Like, it's just so good. Like,
it's so helpful.
So far. Yeah, because in order to get this hole, you either have to throw a flex shot, which is, as you were saying, like, the wind will you just don't know what the wind's going to do. Like, that's about as good as you can do, playing as safe as you can possibly play with having about a 40-footer, but then you're putting right back at the out of bounds and a headwind.
Into the wind, yep.
So it's just, yeah, if you have the sidearm, it just makes this so much easier because you can even attack the pin. And if you mess up and go OB, you might have a par putt.
And this is...
Alrighty. I just didn't know he had that type of distance. That is so impressive to me.
Alex is one of those players that I think has got one of the most underrated sidearms.
This needs to be a tree. Yeah, that's not what you want. So now it's starting to snowball a bit for Andrew. He really needs to kind of slow down a bit. And that'll be, 12-footer for bogey. Can he go 2 in a row? I just want to see him celebrate.
I want to see the 540 twirly birds.
That's it.
Ouch. Definitely unexpected.
Pass interference.
bit of pass interference there. Throwing a 400-foot sidearm spike. Ricky gets the birdie. Not too shabby.
Yeah, in my round, I actually threw a very good tee shot, and I threw it as hard as I could down that right side. Challenged the OB the whole entire way. Oh, no.
Oh. And a pretty routine birdie run turns into a, is that a 4?
Yeah.
Ouch.
But anyway, as I was saying, is it took a full power shot of me challenging the out of bounds the whole entire way to get rewarded, and he just was in no trouble the whole entire time. So,
especially with the crosswind coming off right to left, was definitely a good option if you do have that big giant sidearm. Definitely helps. Moving into, like you were mentioning earlier, another one of those baby hyzer holes, hole 13.
Yeah, just another real fragile shot. Like, you have to push that tree right there with OB 2 feet to the right of it. So if you hit it, you're likely going out of bounds. And then if you hit the gap, you have to slow fade it up to hear where Jesus is preaching to his disciples.
What a beautiful scene.
And if you can slide it up there, this is really good.
This is about exactly what the line was chalked up to.
He's making this look so easy, guys, and it is not easy at all.
Because he's not throwing an overstable disc. He's throwing something straight and potentially straight to understable.
Kind of want to see somebody just barely mess up like that. Yeah. So not that bad of a shot, but he got a good kick.
It's one of those hyzer shots that needs to be pushing forward the entire way. And I think
this is actually too fast, though, isn't it?
And he just seems to keep catching, whenever he's throwing those good shots, it seems like he keeps catching those bad breaks. But yeah, there is OB directly behind that basket.
And that's why throwing driver is going to be tough. Like, mid-range is the optimal play because it's going to land soft. This is perfect. Like, it's going to land soft. Money.
And AJ opted to throw the driver as well, but he also threw it short and played the flare forward as well.
That was driver?
It was, I think it was a getaway that he was throwing. Alex, little down-tempo putter shot.
He's going to have to earn it.
Nothing he can't do.
Good putt. Awkward stance. So flat, so smooth. OB right behind it. That was not an easy putt.
No, definitely not. Marwede with the circle 3 putt there.
Couple birds. Couple pars.
Moving into hole 14, and this one I actually really like the line it makes you throw. The optimal route here is a backhand flex shot that plays to the left side. There is a right gap, but again, you'd have to throw one of those long pushing hyzer shots that flips up as it's fading. 363 feet. We're going to see a lot of flex shots, I think. That's the tough thing about this flex shot is you want to get it going right so it comes back, but it's just like almost like hole 3 with the forehand. You have to get it coming out of that flex right away. AJ going with a little bit more of a subtle turnover with that getaway, and I do like that play quite a bit.
Money.
There's a little bit less angle control you have to deal with. I think Alex might be going inside forehand.
Now, if you guys want to try this at home, pack a lunch. That is not an easy sidearm at all.
Not at all.
But now that I didn't know he threw 500-foot sidearm, so now that I know that, it's probably pretty easy for him. And this is the other option. You can play kind of a subtle hyzer flip and then go through every tree in the forest and park it. He needs a good break.
Yeah, 29 footer.
He needs a good break. He's got the, short end of the stick the last. Is that a saying? Short end of the stick?
Short end of the stick. It is now.
What is the saying? Short end of the...
Short straw.
Eh.
He drew the short straw. Alex with the jump putt layup. And Marwede with a nice 29 30-footer here.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. And he will be left with about the same distance from the other side. This is the same hole that we saw Ricky 3-putt on from about the same distance. So there's something with either the wind on this green that's been changing or swirling or stopping. that's been kind of throwing some players off.
There's a good putt.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost further than his first one. And that's a full straw he draws there.
He drew an enormous straw there, biggest one of the bunch. Jams the comeback of the 30. The short stick.
It hears. Oh, loose cannon. Too easy. Oh, with the fumble, though, of the mini. That's one of my favorite things to see is when somebody tries to pick up their mini, but they can't do it because their balance is going toward their putt to get it. It's like...
And it's directly tied to their performance of the course as well. Hole 15. Tell me about this hole, Paul, because you have a few different theories about this hole.
Yeah, par 3, 371 feet. Basically a par 4. That's how this is going to play. I believe it's the second hardest hole on the course. And you're going to be playing subtle hyzer, into the left rough. Like, that's the play. You're trying to get to the rough. And then once you do that, then you have kind of a soft upshot into the green. There's really no way to get to the pin unless you throw flex sidearm through this little gap, as you can see.
That gets lucky and challenges the OB.
Yeah, it's only 370 feet.
And as you're seeing, all the players are just opting for the...
throw it in the rough.
Exactly. They're playing it as a par 4. They're throwing it. And the thing is, on the left side, there is that hill. So even if you do hyzer into the hill...
Oh.
And if there was a play to eagle the hole, that would have been it.
Well, it's a par 3. So, yeah, I guess to eagle the hole with a hole in one, that's it. I want to see this get through. He's going for it. It needs a flex out. Oh, no,
oh my
Andrew.
Goodness. I think that... Is that the short stick? I think that's the short stick.
That's a twig.
That's the twig.
He drew the shortest twig along with that.
Yikes. So as you can see, toughest par 3 of all time. AJ going with his super beat-up deputy, and it looks like he kind of had some bad footing there.
Yeah. Yeah, so this you can see, like, after Ricky plays here, he's just trying to throw this little sidearm up shot, and that's perfect.
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
Yeah, now he's just pulling away from this card at this point.
He looks really, really in control. Marwede.
And now he literally hits the short stick to top it all off.
I think his box of sticks is just full of short ones at this point. Unfortunately, I'm going to go give him a hug today. AJ with some awkward footing.
So 0 birdies on this hole.
Zero birdies.
For the tournament.
It's hard for me to call a 4 on this hole a bogey.
Right. Ricky's just going to tap in the only 3 on the hole, and that's how tough this hole is.
Nice and dainty putt for the 4. And A. Russ himself will tap in for his bogey as well. Or is it a double bogey?
It's a double bogey.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Hole 16, back out in the open, 678 feet. One of those interesting par 4s where it looks like the shot is just to push it up as far as you can on the fairway, but actually, it's kind of nice to be left side, isn't it?
Yeah, the further left you are, the more the green kind of opens up for your upshot. If you're right, then you're kind of challenging that OB path over there and along with a low ceiling approach. So I'm guessing, oh boy.
That is not a common
hit a house
thing to look at.
Is it inbounds somehow? Yeah, and he ripped it. I mean, he got through everything, and he's going to have a pretty easy approach. It's going to be low ceiling, but it won't be that difficult for a sidearm approach.
And AJ just goes full loose cannon on this.
That was nice. Yeah, and see, he's going to be a little bit further left, which is actually better for him, especially being backhand dominant player. He'll be able to throw some sort of finesse shot around the branches, not have to worry about that low ceiling.
That needs to come out a little bit. I think it
That's
will.
Money. Yeah, he's going to love that. Easy sidearm approach for him, especially now that we know he throws 9 million feet sidearm
best sidearm player of all time.
Crazy. He's really impressed me this round.
And there's a competent throw from Marwede. After catching multiple short sticks, he crushes this one.
That was nice. Very nice. Outdrives the group by a good ways. Maybe a little frustration in that extra power in that
Would
throw.
not doubt that for a second. Should be pretty routine for a Russ. And actually, looks like crosswind or something picked up.
Yeah, and that's that low ceiling we were talking about. Like, he wanted to go wider than that, but he didn't get it left enough to just have that straight approach.
Marwede's going to be about 30 feet from the basket on that one, and AJ just gets a nice waffle ward into the basket.
No, low ceiling. He's got to drop. Huh. And here's Ricky with a putter approach after an absolute shank off the tee.
And he is parked for the birdie.
Yeah. That'll be a tap in par. Yeah, actually surprising the mistakes that we've seen on these upshots. Ooh.
Little edgy of a miss there from AJ. Marwede hoping to capitalize on his 30-footer. Beautiful.
But very nice. Did he just pick something up and eat it off his disc?
There's a possibility that he did that. Maybe needs a little extra nourishment. Maybe a worm.
Make a putt, eat a sandwich?
It's a nice reward system to have.
Yeah.
Alex taps in the par. AJ also taps in the par.
When you're 9 feet tall, you need, to constantly be putting.
I'm not sure if you just saw the most beautiful tap-in of all time. AJ setting it in the upper rung of the basket. Moving into hole 17, par 4. It looks like you want to throw a max distance flex shot when really the line to the basket on your second shot is better if you're in the middle or left side of the fairway.
Yeah, and then your approach shot's going to be over this little pond area. There's OB to the left of that green, and then to top it off, it's the windiest hole in the course. So if you can manage all of those things, you will have a shot at birdie. That's so good. He's mad about it, and it's so
Because that's going to flex out as well.
Good. He's going to...
That's a beautiful shot. Right in the middle of the fairway, and he threw the flex shot that actually faded back out to the left, so he has a wide open 150 to 200-foot shot to the basket.
That was so far. And another good shot from Andrew.
Right in the middle, he'll have a nice little sidearm to the basket.
Yep. This is too much. He actually gets through the branches, though. That was nice. That worked out well. But if he catches if he catches those branches that he went through, it's very
automatic
far.
four.
Yeah, very far to get. It's just a tough shot to get to the green for sure. It's so impressive.
Wow,
just a little flick, and
he's been impressing me every single time he throws the sidearm. He told me that every single sidearm except for this yellow disc that he's throwing is a boss.
He even fell down perfectly there. Oh, catch it. Doesn't get the best ground play just because there's a subtle hill to the backside of the basket that you really can't see on camera, but there is a subtle hill, and if you catch the backside of that, it tends to move pretty quickly in that crosswind.
That caught a bit of a wind gust.
Yeah. I mean, but that's the mistake you have to make there. You can't be short, because if you're short, you're never going to cross over, and then you're going to be, guaranteed bogey. So the miss is definitely deep, as we even see AJ miss a bit deep, but that's actually really good, especially for the backhand. That could get, that could be dropped at any moment, and then if that happens, straight Watertown.
Straight Watertown.
Yeah, not good. But he didn't, and he threw it perfect, and Andrew, kind of a half go. Maybe if the wind lifts it, it'll go in.
It is whipping at this point. Even if that flag doesn't look like it's doing anything, it's swirling and picking up at random times. And that is a fantastic putt.
Very nice.
As you can see, the wind already started picking up right after he released that disc.
Ricky gonna take his time with this. And Ricky, low key, is breaking the course record.
Looks like he's just moving really smoothly, and he looks really under control with all of his shots, and obviously knocking down putts left and right.
No bogeys, which is impressive.
Especially with this wind swirling out here, it's very easy to let one go and have it get away from you. AJ gets a nice birdie, all backhand birdie too. That's a fantastic play.
And AJ gets to 5 under, which is a very good score for this course. Anything better than 4 to 5 down is going to be, right around that 10-20 mark, which is always good.
Final hole, hole 18, par 3, 365 feet. This is a pretty routine backhand shot for all these players. You're going to throw flat to fade on the right side, hit the hill, and hopefully it sticks. Only real danger is obviously that pine, and then if you go a little bit too far, you have a pretty scary death putt back at the basket.
And there's an out-of-bounds green that's 100 feet off the tee, so if you
Trip and fall.
if you trip and fall and the disc falls out of your pocket, you might go out of bounds.
And that's about exactly what I would have chosen.
If I could choose to park it, I would.
Probably would choose to park it. AJ going with an enforcer.
You could get the nose up as well and go a little left, and there is OP left. But, so he throws a really bad shot there. He does, and it's a bit right, but he's so far right that it's going to be an easier upshot. If you're like circle's edge and you have to run that putt, I see a lot of people who kind of get in the position that Alex is in, and you have to run it, and it's not the easiest putt, and any miss on that hillside is probably going to roll. So if you're going to make a mistake, you might as well make a really bad one, is what I'm saying on this hole. Ricky's laughing at the group at this point.
He's playing a different sport at this point.
Yeah, see, and so he has no trouble. Just easy layup, get out of there.
Yeah, for the shots that these guys are capable of, it's really one of those holes you're going to take a 3, you're going to take a 2, unless you get some sort of really bad roll away.
Buckets.
Alex really, really impressed me that round. I think he's just had a lot of good momentum all year after shooting so great at Waco. I think he's really not had too many poor finishes.
No, it seemed like he's just playing really smooth golf, and we mentioned at the beginning as AJ misses that comebacker, that he's just kind of unassuming. He just kind of goes through his round very quietly, but has all the tools to attack the course. And there's a 12 under, unofficially going to be 1080 rated. So you just watch 1080 golf, and Ricky really separate himself from the field.
It's super difficult to manage all those wooded fairways with all those technical shots, and very impressive round from Ricky, but also a couple impressive rounds from the other players in the card as well. It looks like Marwede did struggle a little bit and caught a bunch of bad breaks, but it looks like we probably will be seeing a lot of the same faces on the lead card tomorrow.
Yeah, just Bradley Williams jumping up there, which is going to be super fun. Local guy, and thank you guys for joining us for this second round coverage. Can't wait for the finals.
Thank you. See you tomorrow.